So yeah, I was doing that and doing football and all that. And then I met Tori in our first class together. I think was the fall of 2020. I think we had class together for the first time. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So we're all masked up in class, and I was like, "Who's this cute redhead over here?" And she didn't.
And you're not,
Yeah,
from here up,
I was like, "Wow, she's cute."
The one with the
She had a
eyes.
ZZ Top shirt on. I was like, "Wow."
Yeah,
But
nice.
she didn't want too much to do with me at first. She was just a smart girl, and I was just kind of the dumb boy.
Good morning and welcome to Fellowship Friday. Today on our episode, we have Sean and Tori Benke. Correct? Did I say that right?
Yeah, you got it.
Good, we got it.
Crushed.
Talked about it beforehand. Couldn't remember. I forget things super fast. But welcome into our studio. I showed you around a little bit. That wall, this wall, the floor, with
great.
the carpet.
Yeah, it's comfy.
Great. Yeah. The sign behind you. Which I don't know if you saw that, but
Oh, yeah.
it's not centered on the wall,
It's
but
nice.
makes sense back there
Looks
on
good.
camera. So, let's just get into everything, I guess.
Sounds good to me. So, so why don't you guys maybe just share just a little bit about, where, where you grew up, and then what kind of brought you to Grace Bible Fellowship, and also your professions, and then that kind of stuff. Just because ultimately with this, we're just trying to get to know everybody in the
Yeah.
congregation really well and allow them to get to know you really well.
Yeah.
That's kind of the idea. So, who would like to start? Ladies first, maybe?
Go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
She's like, gee, thanks.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Sometimes that's not the best one when you're like, ladies first. We're good. No, you can go.
Okay, so I grew up on a little tiny town on a ranch in southeastern Colorado. And my parents are still there, and I have a giant family. Everybody's all around there. I only have one little sister, but I've got a ton of cousins and aunts and uncles and everybody. So it was so much fun growing up. Oh my goodness gracious. I was so blessed. I cannot tell you how. And then it's like, I'm not even exaggerating. There are less than 50 people that live in this whole community.
Oh, wow.
So my graduating class from high school was one other person and me. And so
Wow.
it was like,
She was the valedictorian.
yeah.
though.
That's awesome.
Sean likes to brag about that and then not tell them that there were only two people.
And what's the name of the town again?
It's called Kim, K-I-M.
Because I remember just simply because Pastor Noah's wife, Jackie,
Yeah.
is from the same area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's from like an
Wow.
hour north, Rocky Ford.
Okay.
Yeah, so when we first met and she was like, where are you from? And I always say like, oh, a little town in southeastern Colorado. Because I've learned that when you say Kim, everybody's like, oh, that's not in Colorado. And then you're like, no, it is. And then you just backtrack. So I just skip that part normally. So it's always fun when someone actually knows it. And then they're like, what? And then I'm like, oh my goodness, you know everybody then. Like, you know all the people that I grew up with.
Cool. That's
Wow.
cool. That's a cool connection, though, especially just because it just doesn't probably happen very often.
Mm.
So
Exactly.
that's really cool. So that's really cool that it sounds like a really close environment there.
Yeah.
So really close to family. Probably have really close friends even, I imagine, being the valedictorian of two. The other person you're probably fairly close to, at least at the time anyway, I imagine.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Everybody is like a family down there, and everyone is just so kind and willing to help you no matter what. Everybody does know everything, so some people don't like that. I didn't really mind it. I don't care. I loved it. So whenever we moved up here, it was actually hard at first because I was like, what in the world? There are all these people and nobody gives a crap about anybody. Like, what is this world? Where am I?
Yeah. That's understandable, though, because that's kind of the mode of where the world's at. It's ultimately a world that's about ourselves, and then and that plays itself out and just in that way. And so, it's like, I don't know how it is down south, but like, my family is by and large from Iowa,
Oh.
and we used to go back there to visit my dad every year. And as soon as you as soon as you even get into Nebraska, you get the wave.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You just get the wave, and that's an Iowa
Following
one,
wave.
by the way, because
Yeah.
every town has their different kind of waves. Something like this, and
Yeah.
in Iowa, boy, it's Yeah, had to
That's
practice that.
awesome.
you know.
Yeah.
Did they do that, the wave or any kind of wave?
Yeah.
See,
Uh-huh.
and here,
Mhm.
I've tried to bring, like, there was a not a good song, I'm bringing back.
Uh-huh.
And I used to say, I'm bringing waving back. And I couldn't. Every time,
No.
every time I'd come back from Iowa, I couldn't. I would try and nobody,
Yeah, right?
Nobody
People
wants
are
to
either
wave.
locked in or like, is that
Yes.
guy flipped me the bird? Like,
I
what's
think-
going on over here?
I know. Exactly.
Everybody's
That's why
so
this was
hostile.
not good.
Yeah.
Because it was always like, what is
Yeah, it definitely is. It's so sad to see how self-centered the world is and just how focused they are on their desires and what they want and everything. But so yeah, I grew up down there. Then I went to college in Alamosa, and that's where I met Sean.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah, and then he graduated. So I was really, really blessed, and I had scholarships, and I had done classes in high school. So I got to graduate a semester early, but I did a double major. So I did
Oh, nice.
accounting and economics.
Hmm.
So Sean's a year older than me, but he only graduated a semester early,
Yeah.
which
She's smart. She's a brainiac.
I promise I'm not.
Dedication.
Yeah.
Totally dead. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good
it
stuff.
was.
Because that's hard. Like I
Mhm.
mean, to graduate early from a college is tough. I mean, when I was in it, was like, taking 4 classes was, I don't know if it was at yours, but that was like a full load.
Yeah.
And so then to graduate, and that was even at the time, like you were going to be pushing even graduating in
Yeah.
4 years with 4 classes.
Yeah.
So doing early must have meant you were doing what, 5, 6, sometimes 7 classes at a time.
Yeah, I think I mainly did 5.
5,
Yeah,
that's a load,
sometimes
though.
6.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's a load. That is
Yeah.
just a load.
Yeah, she was working too, and she had a
Wow.
lot on her plate. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I get it. I did that with I think when I finally finished, I had 4 kids when I finished, and it only took like 7 years to get my BA, but whatever.
Yeah. It's all right. Yeah. It's okay.
Working full time,
Yeah.
and whatever. It's all good. It's
Yeah.
all good.
Oh,
Ye-
that's still impressive. Oh, I can't even
Yeah.
imagine having to do it with having 4 kids at home. You're trying to.
Still exciting.
Yeah.
Still exciting.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you rocked it out.
Never finished.
Nice.
Yeah, it was done. I was excited to be done. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Which it helped. We were so busy, like in a small town, you're just kind of doing everything. Like you're in all the clubs, all the sports. So it was really, honestly, it wasn't that bad because I grew up like doing stuff 6 days a week all the time
Yep.
to still just doing 6 days. Like it was just an easy
Mm.
transition. So then when I became a flight attendant, I was like, man, this is a cool life, not having to do a lot. I'm just hanging out. I'm just chit chatting with people, reading my book when they're done. I'm like,
Nice,
this is awesome. So if I had to go back now, I'm sure I would be like, what is this? Can
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have a break?
yeah.
So,
Very much
Yeah.
so.
Crazy.
do you want to go?
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm originally from Tucson, Arizona, or northwest of Tucson, in a suburb out there. So I spent about 18 years out there, and then as soon as I graduated, I had gotten a scholarship to play football at Adams State. So I was like,
wow.
oh yeah, I'm gonna go out there, and I could have gone to NAU in Northern Arizona. Kind of would have been like the same scholarship, but I really wanted to go somewhere new, so I went to Colorado. I had a lot of people around there went to NAU. And I was like, I want to go try Colorado. So I wanted to visit, and I went to Alamosa. I don't know if you guys have been to Alamosa before, but it's like, it's very small, and it was awesome. And I was like, this is really cool. So I ended up going there, and I played football. I actually, when I went there, I started out as a nursing major.
Oh,
And
nice.
I did that for maybe a year, and I realized how much work it was going to be outside of football. So then add in
yeah.
football. And I was like, I don't know if this is for me. So like a year in, I was like, I'll switch to something like healthcare, business management or something like that. Still stay in the healthcare field. I thought I was interested in healthcare. So then I started doing accounting classes, and I had this accounting professor who was really great. And she was like, you're going to be an accounting major. And I was like, no, I don't know about that. I don't know what I'm doing. She's like, no, you're good at it. So I ended up switching to accounting, and I was like, okay, this is cool. And I started to really enjoy it. Meanwhile, playing football and all that. And
By the way, for a
Mhm.
pause for that, what position did you play?
Offensive line. Yeah,
position?
I played
Nice.
center and guard.
All right,
Yeah,
nice.
so always played on the line. I was heavy
Nice.
back then. Holy cow! I was like, I'm a heavy, so I was like 290. Which I mean, I don't have that big of a frame. You know, I've always
Good
been this
lineman.
height. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was pretty thick. Yeah, it was hard to do. It was hard to do anything besides play football and lift
Right.
weights. It was miserable. I remember trying to learn how to snowboard at like 290, and I'm
Oh.
like, oh my gosh, this is miserable.
Eesh.
I mean, just like moving
yeah.
around with all that weight is just
Yeah.
unbearable. So yeah, I was doing that and doing football and all that, and then I met Tori in our first class together. I think was the fall of 2020. I think we had class together for the first time, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So we're all
Yeah.
masked up in class, and I was like, "Who's
Mhm.
this cute redhead over here?" And she
And
didn't.
you're from here up,
yeah,
even.
yeah. I was like, "Whoa, she's cute."
The one with the
She had
eyes.
She had a ZZ Top shirt on. I was like, "Wow."
Yeah, nice.
But she didn't want too much to do with me at first. She was just a smart girl, and I was just kind of the dumb boy, the dumb football boy. So she was just kind of like, oh, but she was super sweet. So we were friends, and I'd always invite her to study groups, and I'm like, you should come to study group, just because I wanted to talk to her, and I thought she was great. Then she would come every now and then, and so yeah, that's kind of when we became friends, and we had like a friend group in the accounting class. We do a lot of our homework together and stuff like that, and so we kind of became friends that way. And then I think like the fall of my senior year would have been the fall of Tori's junior year.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we kind of started dating and being with each other more. It was a really great time. So she finally gave in, and I won her over. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice,
then it was actually kind of great timing in a way. I got a concussion in one of our games, a really bad concussion and a really bad neck injury. So I
man.
was like, it kind of opened up the pathway. It was God working, even if I didn't know at the time. But
Sure.
I got hurt, and then so I couldn't go to practice really. I mean, for like weeks, I couldn't. It hurt to be outside. It hurt to go to class and stuff like that. My eyes, my head. So it opened up more time to be with Tori. So Tori and I got to hang out more during that time, and it was really great. So it like kickstarted our relationship, and it was amazing.
That's awesome. And
yeah.
injury. Yeah, it was hurt, man. It was
Yeah.
horrible. I was
Yeah.
almost paralyzed. And but hey, me and Tori got together.
That's right. Yeah, we started dating. It was awesome. Good time. So yeah, then we finished out the year. And then it was before even that, I was in accounting classes, and they were getting more difficult. And I was like, I just don't know if I want to have a desk job. And I don't know. I'll finish out this degree, but I think I want to be a cop. And I'd kind of thought about being a cop in the past when I was a kid.
Mhm.
And I didn't really think, maybe you went to college and then you got like a college-ish job, used your degree in some sorts. I'm like, I didn't think I'd be a cop. And I was like, well, my buddy was going to be a wildland firefighter. I'm like, man, that sounds cool. I want to do something too. I'm like, I'm going to be a cop. So watching cop movies and all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, let's be a cop. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, I started applying like in January my senior year, and then it all worked out. And so, yeah, we just progressed through that spring semester, and then that was a stressful hiring process, doing all the background stuff and having to come up to Denver back and forth to apply to these different departments. And then, yeah, like a couple days after I graduated, I got a conditional job offer from Arvada Police Department.
Oh,
so I'm
nice.
like, okay, yeah, it works out perfect. Let's do that.
What did you end up getting your degree in?
Accounting.
Accounting. Okay.
So I got an
okay,
accounting
nice,
degree and a minor in taxation. And
Oh,
yeah, I
nice.
wasn't the best student in the world. I guess my motto was C's get degrees. So I got C's. They were high C's, but Tori was the brainiac, and she helped me out, and she was a little sweetheart and helped me out with homework and all that, and helped me get through the
That's
classes.
awesome.
So yeah,
It does get the degree, though.
Yeah, it
does
does.
get it. So.
I won't have that advice for our children in the future, but it worked. It worked for the time being.
Well, here's the question, though. Has anybody ever asked you, like, job-wise, like, so tell me, what were your grades?
No, no. I was
No,
never,
right? Yeah,
no.
that's
I think I left my GPA off my resume, but it wasn't that bad. It was, it was right around a 3. But but no, Arvada didn't care. Like, whatever. Who cares? You just have to have it, whatever. So yeah, then I moved up to Denver, and Tori was still in school. And Tori left out, but she did her last semester online while she was doing flight attendant training.
Oh, wow.
So she was a little rock star, and she was up in Cheyenne, Wyoming, doing her training there.
Wow.
So yeah, and then during that time, Tori had eventually moved up to Denver, and we had kind of fumbled around a couple different churches. There was one in Arvada. I think it was called Arvada Baptist Church that we'd gone to, and we'd gone there a couple times. And we're like, oh, this is cool, but for some reason, I don't know, I wanted us to go to Arvada. I think it's because I was working there, so it'd be like a 30-minute drive, and I don't know, during that time, I should go back. Growing up, I didn't go to church whatsoever.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask
Yeah.
that for both of you. Like, what
Yeah.
was it like? Just
I
What
didn't
was
go
it
to
like?
church at all. Maybe my parents brought us a couple times, but I think me and this other kid, we were like 5 or 6. We started like belly bumping during the service, and my mom was like, "No," and got us out of there, and we never went back there because we were awful. So we didn't ever grow up going to church really, and I don't know really who God was, who Jesus was. And then as I became older, I was like, no, religion's a sham. I don't want
Yeah.
anything to do with that. And in college, even when I met Tori, I knew she was a believer, and I was like, no, I just thought it was just silly, all of it. I wanted nothing to do with it at all. And started going to church with Tori just to be with her, and I respected her ideas. And I was like, yeah, I'll go to church with you. And then it just kind of grew from there. That was in college, and then fast forward, we're going to church up here in the Arvada area. And I'm still not really a believer, but I'm learning, and I have a Bible. Tori got me a Bible for my was that 21st birthday, I think, or 22nd birthday, something like that. It was amazing.
That's cool.
I still use that Bible to now. But anyways, we're trying to find our way. I'm trying to find the way in this church, and I don't really know. I know enough where I should be a believer, but I'm just stagnant, I guess. So Tori's, trying to push me, be like a healthy push, and I'm trying to be receptive and everything. And we're still going to this church, and I just start, reading the Bible more and going through it more. And I'm just still kind of stagnant, not really growing at all. Still not fully committed or anything like that. And then we had moved out here to Lochbuie in like April of 23, I think. And we'd seen this church nearby, and we'd driven
Can I ask
past
you
it.
a side question? What made you want to go out to Lochbuie? I mean, since you're living in
So we were living in Lakewood, and we were like, we don't want to be in the city at all anymore.
Okay.
It's just I wanted to be far away from work.
Yeah.
We were driving home from work. I was driving with Tori one day, and we were driving down Kipling. I saw some dude that I had arrested on the side of the road. And he didn't recognize me, but I was like, I don't want to be near the city
That
at all.
makes sense.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
Even now, we don't really. We try to stay out of the city. Honestly, I mean, this is still a city, but it's not like it's not like Denver Metro. It
not like
doesn't
that.
feel like it.
Yeah,
right?
no. Yeah, oh no.
No.
It's definitely Brighton is growing, but it's still nothing like I mean, I grew up in Denver actually, and even like kind of the outskirts of, or not the outskirts, beginning of Thornton area, and just everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just city, everybody. And so Brighton is not like that. I mean,
I love it out here.
Lochbuie for sure. So.
It's way different than the normal metro area.
So
we wanted to move out here, ended up moving out here, and then we were like, okay, well, we're going to find a good church here. We'd seen a couple churches around. I think we'd driven past Grace Bible. And Tori's like, we should go to that one. And we came out here, and it was just like, it clicked immediately. And the first time we came here, Noah was preaching, and he talked about, he had this amazing message that he had given about his friend. And of course, he's crying because Noah cries all the time. I'm sure you listen to Noah, you cry all the time.
Just a part of it.
Yeah. So he's up there, and he's giving him like, wow, this is amazing. And he met me and Tori, and I was like, holy cow, this is cool. And still wasn't a believer yet. And I remember it vividly. It was around that time. Tori and I were riding around in the car, and Tori's like, what are you gonna do, man? Like, you know enough right now to where like you should become a believer. You're in a bad spot. And she was really kind of harsh with me in a good way. And I was like, oh my gosh,
just kind of sounds like holding him to it.
Yeah,
like,
she was. She was like, what do you?
That makes sense.
She's like, what are you doing, dude?
I think that's a fair question.
Yeah, she loved me, and she just wanted obviously ultimate best for me, and wanted me to go to heaven and just live just an amazing life. And she was just like, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. So it took that, and then I started meeting with Noah, and just reading more and more in the Bible and learning about it. And it was right before I got baptized. I'm like, yeah, Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, let's do it. And since then, life's completely changed. It's just been amazing. That was in August of 23.
Nice.
So yeah, Tori was the instrument that led me to Jesus, and it's been amazing. And she's the one who baptized me.
Yeah. I think that is just so super special.
It
and
is.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh man, I just love
cool
that
picture.
Yeah, it's so cool. So yeah, that's kind of how we found it here, and we love living in Lochbuie and Brighton area, and it's been amazing. So
And how about you? Sounds like you were already a believer. What's your background?
Yeah, so I grew up always going to the Baptist church in Kim. And
Was it the only Baptist? Was it the only church in Kim? I
there's
don't know.
There's two.
Surprisingly,
There's
two.
two.
Yes.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Yeah, so
So
sometimes
they
I
split the congregation 25 and 25.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, so I grew up going to that, and My mom has always been a believer. My dad, not so much. He's like he knows God, but not really. Like I don't think he really knows him. He thinks he does, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
So we're working on that.
Sure.
But
And that's always hard with family. I mean,
yeah.
I think that's one of the harder areas to witness to. Like I can walk up to a stranger and give the gospel, but then with family, it's just really difficult. Like I remember when I decided to go into ministry, I was so zealous, and I just basically was just on fire, but in a good and a bad way, in the sense that I just was like overpowering. It's like a lot of my family's like, you just stop.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Well, they
Yeah.
grew up with you your whole life,
Yeah.
so they know the dirty.
Yeah.
They know all the dirty. They know you
Oh,
in the good
yes.
times and the bad times. So
Yeah.
for you to go up to them and say, "Hey, there's a new way
Mm-hmm.
to do this,"
Mm-hmm.
like, who are you to tell me that?
Yeah,
Imagine
no, that's
that's
a good
what
point.
Jesus' brother was like too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is this guy?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I knew,
it's-
like I think that's in scripture too.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, you're
Yeah.
100% correct. That's actually a great point that I wish I would have come up with a long time ago. Because when I talk to people about that, I've never brought that
You're
up.
like, I'm gonna have to use
But
that.
that's actually really good because he's right. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't until after the resurrection that his
Mhm.
brothers and most likely as he at least had, we just know plural that he had at least 2 or more sisters end up coming to faith
Yeah.
in their brother.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
but it wasn't until after his ministry, which is
Yeah.
just mind blowing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm sorry I cut you off.
No,
You're talking
no.
about your dad and that kind of stuff.
You're good. So anyway, yeah, my mom and me and my sister would go most Sundays. And there was so small town, right? There was a girl, she was 2 or 3 years older than me. And she was just getting ready to start. Oh, yes. So I was in 5th grade going in 6th. She was an 8th grader getting ready to go into freshman year. And we had obviously been really close playing sports our whole lives growing up. She went to the same church as us, like really good buddies.
Hmm.
She got leukemia
Oh,
and she fought it for, I think, only like 5 or 6 months.
Mm.
It was, she was sick for a couple months and they just thought that it was just like a random cold. And then, because the symptoms in the beginning can be like
Really,
passed over
yeah.
pretty easily. Yeah. And then her skin turned like the really yellow color. And
Oh,
that was
yeah.
like the sign that they caught on to. And then she started coming up to Denver for treatments and everything. And she ended up beating it. But then, like, less than a week later, she passed away just because her immune system was so
Oh.
low. She caught just a random cold.
Yeah.
And I just remember at that time, like, since I have a big family, I'd been around death before and seen it, but I had never seen it with someone that I knew that closely so young,
Yeah.
And I remember that it was really hard because I was just like so confused. I was like, what in the world is going on?
Yeah.
Like, God,
Why did that happen?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I remember the whole time like visiting her in the hospital, and always she was like just so strong in her faith. Like she was always like, God's got a plan. Like she would be telling her parents that for someone so young to have that much faith, like it was just so beautiful to see and so moving. And I remember that Philippians 4:13 was her Bible verse. And so it was like all over everywhere, the whole school. We would get like necklaces and it was like, it was just everywhere. In the morning, we'd always have like a Carly was her name. We'd have a Carly update
Oh.
on how she was doing. And she touched so many lives, like everywhere in all the small towns. Everybody would always be praying about her and asking about her. And I learned like later on that she was just able to do so much in her short life that I think that God was using her to kind of spread the message is what I believe.
Yeah.
And I remember that a couple weeks after she passed away, I was like, man, I want to be that strong. Like if I'm getting ready to die, I don't want to be nervous. I want to be like, all right, here we go. And so
It's game time.
yeah. So that's whenever I accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior. And then we just continued to go to church. And I was baptized. I wasn't baptized until later. I think I was baptized my freshman year of high school with my little sister and then one of my other friends there. So it was such a fun day. Oh my goodness. Not as good as Sean's because he had somebody pretty good baptizing him, you know.
That's right.
The best.
That's awesome.
But yeah, and then I went to college, and I definitely got lost.
Sure.
It just happens. I never like lost sight of Jesus. I was still reading my Bible and praying. Well, I did lose sight of him, but like it's not like I like turned away from him. and was like, oh no, I don't like you. I don't need you
Right. It
anymore.
wasn't like a deconstruction idea. It was
Yeah.
more of a basically just the world type thing and the stuff going on. And so,
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. And like I had always grown up, it was easier because I had always grown up around people that made it easy to
Yeah.
continue like making those choices and like bettering myself in that way with
Yeah.
the church and the whole community. And so whenever I went to college and it was kind of up to me to decide, I was going to church, like I was going to church most weeks, but then it was like I was one of those people where I was going to church on Sunday, but then throughout the week I was not living the life
Yeah.
that you're supposed to live.
Mhm.
So
Sunday morning Christian.
yes, that was definitely me.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I think that God obviously was so amazing and he used me to get to Sean, but he also used Sean to help pull me back in because Sean was part of the reason where I was like, well, man, I'm like telling him all this stuff, but I am not doing it. Like,
Conviction.
It's like,
yeah.
wait, hold on. Sorry, let me get this out first. Hold on. What? Knock him out. Wait. Ah!
Yeah.
Okay, now. Let's,
Yeah. It was cool. Tori's like, yeah, you're making me grow in my faith because I'd ask her just all these simple questions that people
Sure.
that pre-believers and even young believers ask.
Mhm.
I'm still very young in my belief, but just asking Tori these things, she'd be like, oh, no one's ever asked me that. That's always just been like something I've known,
Yeah.
or like little kids ask me, and so it'd be really cool for her to do that, and I think it kind of pushed you, and helped her
Definitely.
helped you grow, and bring us closer together. To piggyback off what you said earlier, I had friends at the time, and I mean, we were just awful. I mean,
Mhm.
just sinning awfully, just getting drunk and just being stupid college dudes. And Tori came in, and everyone liked Tori at first, right? And then, well, now I'm going to church with Tori, and my friends are like, "Man, you're changing, you're changing." And this is before I even had, Jesus, the Holy Spirit. But they're like, "No, you're changing, man. We don't like Tori." And I'm like, Tori's amazing. I don't know what you guys are talking about. So it led to falling out with friends. Friends are like, man, you've changed. Something's changed about you. And they saw it as, oh, this girl's just controlling your life. Tori's changing. And I'm like, no, like, I just want to be different. I don't know. And like, I didn't know at the time it was God and I didn't know it was Jesus. But I just wanted to change, like Tori, just amazing person. I was like, I just have to change for her. Like, I love her. Like, I have to. Something's got to change. And all my friends were like, no, man, you've changed. Something's different. And it's crazy when you see people now that used to be buddies with back then before. You see them and it's just different. And, it's just so odd. They're living the same life, doing the same silly things you're doing in college. And you're like, man, I pray for you. Something's got to change. Like, you can't live your life like this your entire life, And I think that was hard. It was hard in our relationship. It was taxing. We'd only been together a few months and there was this huge argument with our friends. And they were like, oh, well, we don't think Tori's good for you. And I'm like, who are you guys to say what's good for me?
Man.
It's really you guys that aren't good for me right now. So it was hard. It was hard at the time. And
usually the case. Like it's usually that you see that with, folks, they don't want, that they see her as a threat and it wasn't even, like, oh man, we want Sean.
Yeah,
Sean's
exactly.
ours. We're going to keep Sean.
Let's get hammered. Let's drink. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, how was church? Just being so condescending about it and not welcoming towards Tori. So that was hard.
I had, when I was, because I don't know if you've ever heard my story, but I was, I became a believer when I was, 11, 12-ish and, followed after the Lord for a while, but then high school, all bets were off, pretty much drank all the time. I mean, I'd throw kegers in the basement. And, and my mom still to this day, hi, Mom. She still will be like, no, you didn't. Yes, I did. I threw kegers. I mean, I was just wasted all the time. Well, fast forward a few years, end up joining, then I, from high school, joined the military, end up in the military, that kind of thing. And then I met Jen, and I started changing things and started getting closer to the Lord again. And it was interesting because I had a similar experience with, with some of my friends as well.
Yeah.
And just kind of everybody kind of started dropping off the map. But interestingly enough, I think to this day, I think I still have some friends from high school that are like, man, this pastor thing has to be a joke.
Really?
There's no way that he's gonna, because
Yeah.
I was just so, it's just
Yeah.
so vastly
Yeah.
different. They're like,
Yeah.
no way,
Long-running
because I
joke.
was like, I just love to have fun. I'm kind of an
Mhm.
outgoing guy. I've always
Yeah.
been, like that, and so it just never was, that was always just kind of the way I was,
Mhm.
and so they're like, oh, and he's the party guy, he's the this and that, and nope, I mean, I'm still partying. That's the other
Yeah.
thing too, is what people don't understand is that I think believers have the most fun of all.
Yeah.
I remember moving back from Colorado, and by the time I was already decided to go into ministry, and my friends and family, whoever would be with, they'd get together and they'd always be drinking and this and that. I remember one of my family members saying, "Man, you're having more fun than us. You're not even drinking." It's like, yeah, man, this is because it is. Like,
You
and I'm
can.
gonna remember all this.
Yeah. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the age-old
Yes.
debate. It's not even a debate, just argument, I guess,
Yeah.
between like drinkers and non-drinkers. Drink like when you party and stuff. It's like you can have so much more fun when you remember everything,
Yeah.
though.
And
Like, you
feel
don't have to
awful.
just-
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, well, that's part of the experience. Why? Why does that have to be
Yeah.
a part of the experience? It's like
Yeah.
it's just a social norm
Yeah. Yeah.
now for people. It's like have a party, we get drunk.
Yeah.
That's what you do for fun.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to remember my wedding day. Like, I
Yeah,
don't want to be
right.
slammed on my wedding day,
Yeah.
like not remember anything. Like, oh, there's a nice picture of me puking
Yeah.
behind the bush. Like, that was a fun day. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
No, I don't really remember it, but
Yeah.
I think it was fun.
Yeah. Right.
So that's yeah. But
Yeah.
anyways, I wanted to ask you actually about your what do you call it? Stewardesshipness?
Yeah.
I don't know what you call it, but I've heard like regulations and stuff. I don't know. I just want to hear more about that, like what the process was getting into that and becoming
Stewardess?
a stewardess
Yeah.
ship.
I
Your
like
Highness,
it.
whatever the word is.
I know what he said. That's what I thought. I was like,
Stewardessness.
that's awesome. That's okay. You give the crown and then yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, so it's interesting. It's different than a normal job, obviously, because you're flying around, but also just the interview process and everything. So you apply online, and then you have to do a like recording of yourself, and they'll ask you a couple of questions. So like you'll read the question, then you got like 5 minutes to record your answer or whatever. So it's like a video interview. And
Okay.
then if you make it through that, then you have to take an exam to see if your personality fits what they believe a flight attendant personality should be. Then after that, you have a like a Zoom interview.
Mm.
So with a real person this time. And then if you make it through that, then you have, instead of like a face-to-face interview where it's just one-on-one, it's with like 200, 300 people there. It's like
Oh,
a big
wow.
group interview.
Wow.
And so they have one normally every couple months, sometimes only once or twice a year, depending on if the airline needs flight attendants or not. And so you go there, and it's just like, it feels kind of like a conference a little bit. Like you get there, and there's just everybody walking around. You're like, hey, people, hey. And they're just watching everybody, see how you interact, see if you are like can listen to people and empathize, or if you're kind of just talking over everybody,
Oh, yeah,
or if
yeah.
you're just hiding in a corner because
Yeah.
like they have
Mm.
specific. I honestly like I don't think it. Sometimes I feel like they put a little too much pressure on it because I'm like, how you're stuck in an airplane with people. Obviously, you're gonna talk. Like if you want to be a flight attendant, you're probably not gonna be right next to someone and not talk. But
Mhm.
so you get done with that, and then they like do a whole presentation about what the airline is, what it looks like, different things, the planes. And then you go into separate your groups like 3 to 5, and it's like the what you think of as a normal job interview.
Mm.
But it's kind of interesting. It was a lot more nerve-wracking than a normal job interview just because you have so many other people
Yeah.
like listening to your answers
Yeah.
too. Like not only are you trying to be intelligent, like look good and
Right.
answer good, but then you've got like 3 other people answering. So if they take your answer, then you're like, oh crap, now I got to come up with a new one. I got to sound different. Okay.
Gotta have a backup on a backup.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work out to go ditto.
Yeah. Yeah. It's what he said, it's really aligned with that.
Can't really do that. So.
Yeah. So there's that. And
Man,
then
she just keeps saying ditto every single time.
Do we hire her? It's
Yeah,
kind
but
of
yes,
I mean,
man.
hey, the answer was pretty good. So
It's kind of genius. What do we do?
It's pretty smart.
uh,
Never thought of that.
yeah. And then when you get done, Mine was where if you were left in the room, then you made it, and they were sending people home throughout the day. But like at the end, they sent home like they called out about 20 names, and I remember sitting there and I'm like, do I want my name to be called or do I not? I don't know. And then there were a whole bunch of people, and I'm like, this probably isn't good. And then they said we were hired, and I'm
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
oh, okay,
All right,
Oh,
it
that's
worked
cool.
out.
yeah. I will say, so I work for Frontier Airlines.
Sure.
I did not know, did not do my research. I have an older cousin, and she used to work for them like 20 years ago, back when they were like really small, and they were kind of a fancier airline. So they had like the TVs, and they had
Oh,
ovens, and it was
wow.
like similar to United is what
Yeah,
it was,
yeah.
but just a smaller carrier. Okay. And that's when she worked for them. So she told me that Frontier was great, and I'm like, heck yeah, let's do it. So I remember sitting there, and they're telling me how they're ultra low cost, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, how low cost are you if you have TVs and
Yeah.
ovens? And I'm like, but hey, whatever. And then they start showing pictures of the planes, and then they start talking, and I'm like, are there two different Frontier Airlines? I think I'm at the wrong one. I'm like, I must have spelled it wrong or something. I don't know where I am. But they were like, Denver. Oh, sorry. They were offering Denver as a base. And I was like, well, I would only go if Denver was a base. So this is looking good. And then they were like saying when my training would be. So after you get hired from that, a couple of months later, you would do a month-long training. And you have to go wherever they have it. So they had it in Cheyenne, Wyoming. But
Oh, wow.
just depends on the airline wherever you go. Like United's is down in Houston, Southwest
wow.
is down in Dallas. I don't know
wow.
where Delta's is. I think it might be Atlanta or something like that.
Wow.
But anyway, so it all just kind of worked out. And I was like, well, I guess I'm here. Like,
Yeah.
I'll make do, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I remember like getting done and Googling Frontier, and I'm like, oh, so this is the right airline. It's just somehow completely different. Okay.
They completely changed their model.
Yes. Uh-huh. Then when you go to training, it can kind of be a lot. I think if I wasn't in school mode from college, it would have been a lot. Like a lot of people that came back after doing like being in the work field for 20 plus years, it was hard for them because you do class from 8 to 6 every day, 6 days a week.
Oh,
Wow.
And you have an
Goodness.
hour-long break for lunch, but it's just like a lot of information because you asked about like guidelines and regulations and stuff. So the FAA is who regulates the airline industry. And so we have like this giant manual, okay? And it's just got like so much in it. So much. And so there are like FARs, which you can't break. And so every airline in the United States has those. But then every airline also goes in, and if they want to be more specific or more, what's the word?
Regulatory.
Yeah. If they want to be stronger in the regulations, then they're able to do that. But then you have to know what the FAR is, and you also have to know what the airline industry or whatever airline you're choosing they have. And then
man.
you just kind of go through. Well, then you also have to know, like, obviously the safety equipment is all throughout the plane. So you have to know all of that. You have to know how to use all of that. So you have to learn also CPR. You have to do door drills. So those are like the commands that you shout in case of an emergency. And then the different steps for all the different emergencies and how to use the slides and how to use the simple things. Like, you know that there's a raft in there, but you don't know how it works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I'd have no idea.
Yeah, just like simple things like that. And so it is a lot of information, but
That's a lot. I mean, 8 to 6 for 6 weeks, you said? 6 days a week?
It was a
Goodness.
lot, yeah.
That's almost like the, I would think it would be almost the equivalent of perhaps an associate's or something like that. Going through something like that. I mean, it just sounds like it's a lot of information.
it is. It was a lot, but I was, like Sean said, I was still taking 18 credit hours while I was doing this too.
Goodness.
Yeah.
So I'd wake up in the morning because I don't like getting up. So I'd wake up, go to class, and then I'd get my lunch to go, and I'd be writing papers during my lunch break for my college classes. Then I'd go back to school or to their classes, and then I'd come back and I'd do like an hour of classwork, and then I would normally be able to relax because I had my note taking skills down really well. So
Oh yeah.
I was able to, I just had a system. So I never really had to study that much.
Yep.
But you do have to get a 90% above or
Oh,
above
wow.
on every exam to
Goodness.
pass. You
Wow.
do get one or
Could
two
never do that.
retakes throughout the course.
So C's don't get the degree
Yeah.
there.
Ooh, like an A minus at least.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah, it was definitely stressful, I would say. Like I didn't realize it at the time, but I just had a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to do it. Also, you're not paid during this.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
that's brutal, I think. You're
Yeah.
putting me through all this crap and then
Okay.
I don't get anything.
Yeah.
So some airlines do pay like a $500, I don't know, like every 2 weeks or something. Not much, but it's supposed to
Right.
cover like food. Yeah. Frontier doesn't. But
And you already were hired at that point, right?
yep.
Which is really weird.
That's
That's
like
messed up.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like free labor.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's
we call Tori a volunteer flight attendant because she, it sucks in the airline industry. So Tori only gets paid if the plane is moving. So
Oh,
Tori
wow.
gets to the airport early, gets through security, waits for the plane, boards the plane, gets the whole plane ready, checks everything, greets people, does the boarding. All the
Yeah.
passengers get on. That whole time that she's dealing with these annoying passengers and they're being rude to her, get everything ready. She doesn't get paid until the plane moves. So it
Oh,
starts
wow, I
backing
didn't
up, and then
realize
she
that.
gets paid. While it's
Oh, wow.
flying, gets paid, and it stops and lands on the ground and stops moving. She doesn't get paid for that.
Oh
So
wow.
then she does the deboarding and all that, the deplaning, and then the boarding again. And so it's all the time that she's
I
there,
wonder
she
why
only
they
gets paid.
wonder why that's. I imagine it's a standard.
Mhm.
Like most like the industry. But I wonder why that became the standard.
You know, I don't know.
I haven't.
You have a theory about that?
Well, so flight attendants told me. I don't actually know if this is true, so don't quote me on it because I
Sure,
never looked it
sure.
up. But they
We
said
just have you video and we are going to
Yeah.
quote you.
We're
But go ahead. No,
just-
Yeah.
It's only
Just going to
documented.
your
It's okay.
point right now. We're just gonna spread misinformation.
Just
Don't
say
worry about it.
conspirity theory
Oh, yeah.
beforehand and it'll be fine.
yeah.
So
Put
that's
on our
what-
sin hats. Yeah.
Someone told me that like back in the, I can't remember when it was, but so it happened because of the the Railroad Act, where something where the railroads were about to shut down. They weren't making enough money,
Mhm.
and so they had to change it to where the employees didn't have to be paid the full time because it was gonna shut down like the whole country, obviously, because at the time that was like the main mode of transportation for a lot of it. And so some little thing went into act right there. And then that ended up taking over like not only the airline industry, but I think other ones too, like possibly, no, I don't think buses. So maybe just the, like the trains and the airline industry. But they said that it was intentionalized that whenever they put it in, it was only supposed to help them get through that rough time. Then it was supposed to be
They just
taken out.
left it.
Yeah, but everybody's so greedy that like 100+ years later, it's still here and still, which some people are trying to fight it. So like Delta gets paid for boarding now, but they only get paid for half of their hourly rate.
Oh.
And I think they might get like a half of the delay time. They get paid for like maybe 50% of their rate. Same thing.
Oh, wow.
And Southwest doesn't have anything like it. United is getting ready to. I think American's getting ready to too. So they're trying to change it. It's just going to be slow because obviously the people at the top don't want to pay more to everybody else, which that would be a
Right.
substantial amount of money.
Mhm.
Like my normal day now where I just do turns, so I come back every night. My duty day, so the pay that would be like a normal job, like when I start and when I'm able to go home,
Mm.
is 9 hours and I'm only getting paid for 5.
Oh, wow.
So it's almost double.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, for every single airline, that would
Mm.
be a huge,
Mhm.
like they wouldn't be able to afford it to
Yeah.
go straight to
Straight
paying
to
them.
that. Yeah,
Right.
that would be
Yeah.
that would probably cause a huge issue in the whole industry. And then
Mhm.
probably flights would probably get jacked up. Like somebody's
Mhm.
going to pay the cost.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. It
Exactly.
comes out of somewhere. Yeah.
And then especially pilots too, because they're getting paid the same. They're only getting paid for that
Oh, I didn't realize that.
flying time. Yeah. But their
Hmm.
pay is like
Yeah.
mega bucks.
Big bucks.
So I don't even know how we would pay them full time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, yeah, I know. Yeah, for sure. I've known a few pilots and they do pretty well.
Yeah.
Pretty well for themselves. So,
Yeah.
for sure.
Um.
So you can ask you a question with
Yeah.
it, and then I want to ask you the
Mhm.
same question.
Mhm.
So in your profession,
Mhm.
can you? And I don't know if you can share, but maybe the craziest story that you've had so far with the airlines.
Let Sean go first. I'm sure he has his.
You could say that. You could say that lady that was screaming at you a couple weeks ago, probably.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Yeah. So like 2-3 weeks ago, we were going to California and
Of course, California.
this
Yeah.
Uncivilized.
Makes sense.
It makes sense now.
Yeah. It did suck. So we landed and a plane landed right before us and they had a medical emergency, so they took our gate. And it wasn't a base, so that means that they don't have like a whole bunch of gates and a whole bunch of extra planes. It's like just an outer, like you fly there and you're supposed to leave the next or that same day or the next day.
Sure.
Well, so that plane took our gate. So it was like, oh crap, we don't have another gate and it's 11 p.m. So it's going to be hard to contact somebody for us to use a different gate. So the pilots call and they're like, oh, hey, you're probably going to have to wait a while. Well, we're like, oh, this is fun because the plane that they sent us on, the bathrooms didn't flush below 10,000 feet because something in the
Oh.
hydraulics was messed up. And normally that's not a big deal because people aren't up whenever you're on the ground, really. Other than boarding and deplaning, no one's really using the bathroom on the ground. So it's like, whatever, we'll get by. Well, then we land and they're like, yeah, it's probably going to be about 45 minutes.
Oh.
And in the airline industry, if they say 45 minutes, plan on like 2 hours because they're always going best case scenario. So, yeah. So we ask them, we're like, all right, well, we can't make people hold it for 45 minutes. So are you okay if we let them go and just not flush? And he's like, yeah, try and make it so that if they can hold it, see if they can. But obviously you don't want people to be going to the bathroom in their pants. So
That tends to be a bad thing.
Deal.
yeah.
Not good.
So everybody starts coming back and they're like, hey, can we use the bathroom? When I'm explaining the situation. Well, after like 10 minutes, there have been like 15 people that go to the bathroom. Because on these planes, we have like 240 people. So there's a lot of people. And it starts to stink already. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be fun. I love my job. I'm so happy right now. And
Yeah,
so,
you're the face of the airline at that point.
Yeah.
Because the pilots just
Exactly.
stay up in the front.
Yeah,
and
They're
have
like in a
them.
locked door.
Just
yeah.
walk
Yeah.
They're like, oh, don't have to worry about that. Sipping coffee, kicking their feet up. Woo. Yeah.
No, you just need to tell them that no, just
You need to be
fine.
strong right now. You need to be strong.
Be an adult. Sit down.
yeah. So everybody's getting mad because nobody likes to be delayed, obviously, because it messes with your plans. You probably have people waiting to pick you up or a rental car or something. So we're just explaining to them, like, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do right now. As soon as we can, we'll get you to the gate. And this guy comes back and he's just really frustrated. And he just kind of starts yelling at me. But whatever, blah, blah, blah. He told me, he's like, if you would just do your job, we would have a gate. And I was like,
oh,
okay,
There's
all
some
right.
vulgar words mixed in there.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so I'm just like, all right, okay. And he goes and takes his seat. And I think he like was the start. He gave this lady her like confidence. And so she gets up and she just starts like in my face, just like pounding or pointing her finger. And she's like, blah, 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 you need to do this, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, get out of my way. I'll get us a gate. Give me that phone. And I'm like, ma'am, you can't use this phone. And I'm telling you right now, the only people I can call on here are the pilots and the other flight attendants. So it's not going to do anything.
It's just a loop. It
Yeah.
ain't-
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not a magic phone. There's nothing else. I don't have a specific number or anything.
The
And-
hubris.
Yeah.
uh-huh.
And she is just like in my face, just screaming. And she's like,
Oh.
give me your name. And she's like trying to grab my badge. And she's like, get out of my way. And for a second, I'm like, oh man, is she going to hit me?
Oh.
And I'm like, I'm ready. Okay, I'm braced. I'm ready. Yeah.
that's pretty tough. You're like,
Do it.
God, oh, kid.
And so thankfully she doesn't hit me and she just keeps trying to get me to move for the phone. And I just keep telling her like, ma'am, I'm so sorry. I hear you. Like, I'm just going to have you go take your seat. And then when she starts getting really aggressive, I think she's going to hit me. I'm like, ma'am, I can't have you in the galley anymore. I need you to go take your seat or the police are going to have to meet us whenever we get to the gate. And she's like, well, finally, thanks. Everybody can thank me. Like the police are going to get us a gate now because of me. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
Not what she said. Even.
Yeah. And so, but then she like gets her phone out and she just is like right in my face. And then she just starts lying. She's like, this lady's been telling me this, and this, and this, and this. And she's like recording my badge. And I'm just like trying to not play into it. I'm like, ma'am, I've asked you 4 times. I need you to go take your seat. And she just won't stop. So we end up having to call the police and they'll meet us. And so I inform her, I'm like, ma'am, I've told you multiple times you didn't listen. So whenever we get to the gate, the law enforcement is going to meet us and they are going to have a conversation with you. And then she starts being nice a little bit. She's still recording. She goes in the bathroom, records how the toilets are full. And she's just like,
Goodness.
you know
One of
how
those
they are.
people.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah. And then, I look over and I have another flight attendant next to me and I'm like thinking she's going to be like ready for my backup. She was like about to have a panic attack. And I'm like,
Oh.
I like felt so bad, but I'm like, girl, thanks a lot.
Yeah, I know.
Where were you?
Yeah. I was like, cause like I didn't
Yeah.
need you.
Yeah,
Jeez.
really.
But yeah.
Do typically they get your back? Other coworkers?
Yeah, I'd say most of the time. Yeah. I think that a lot of people don't do very well when people are screaming at you like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I will say it's like a whole customer service thing, not just airline or anything else. Like Sean knows it exactly.
Yeah.
When people get mad, it's really hard to still be quiet and respectful and listen. But as soon as you engage at all, not in that way, then it just amplifies it so much.
Yeah.
So there are some of my coworkers that do that, and that drives me nuts. Because then I'm like, man, you're just making this harder. Like they're just trying to find a reason to get mad, and now you're giving them one, and so now it's just like so much worse.
Yeah, because unfortunately there are just folks that'll just do that. So,
Yeah.
Just feeds
I
into
bet that
it.
makes your job super hard. So
Yeah, I mean, that's not a normal day, thankfully.
sure.
So I normally have people that are a little annoyed because Frontier can be a great deal if you know what you're getting into, but a lot of people think the Frontier isn't what Frontier is, and then they're mad with the experience.
Mm.
So I like to say that Frontier isn't like a magical, like, oh, they have to beat the system. Like, this is a cheap flight, but I'm going to have the same experience as everywhere else. Like, no, you're paying for what you get. Like, you're paying for a cheap flight, so you're going to have to expect different.
Yeah. What the
Yeah.
criteria is, which
Yeah.
makes sense.
Pay for what you get.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That makes sense. How about you, Sean? What do you have?
Some copper story.
I have difficulty answering this question until just recently. So I've been a cop for about 3 years now, and I used to have like, oh yeah, this happened and this happened. Well, you'll learn. It's just like you deal with 10% of the population 100% of the time. So 90% of people are just like us, that are normal people, normal-ish, and then you have 10% that are just like have zero part of their life together, and we deal with them all the time. So at
That
work,
makes sense.
you almost feel like you're the weird one because you're around, you and your coworkers are the weird ones, and these people you're dealing with are just like insane, right? Especially in Colorado, our mental health crisis is insane, and drugs are insane. All these people that have mental health issues, they're schizophrenic. Oh, it's adding a little bit of meth and fentanyl, and then woo, they're just bonkers, right?
Yep.
So I have a handful of just bizarre, crazy stories, and I feel like every day at work it's become normal to me, but it's crazy, right? If Tori came on a ride along, she'd be like, "What in the world is this?" And she hears what goes on, but it's different when you see it. So a couple weeks ago, it's been weirder this year. I worked nights this year, and I started working nights in January. So I worked from 8:30 p.m. to 6:30 in the morning, and bizarre things happen after midnight. It's just like everything is bizarre. You're like, what are you like? You can't even describe it.
Yeah.
So a couple weeks ago, I was in our southern portion of the city, so like the worst part of the city. Most homeless, most mental health, drugs, crime, all of it, all the above, right? Most concentrated area of it. So I pull over this kind of cruddy looking van, and I'm looking to see what's in it, if I can get some, maybe for a warrant, drugs, something like that. So I pull them over. They pull into this parking lot, and I walk up there, and it's just, you could tell this person's a drug user. There's just crap all over the inside of the van. It's just like, looks like just totally scatterbrained mess in this van. The story's a little gross, I'll warn you. But the guy is there. I'm like, I start chatting with him, and immediately the front passenger is this female, and I can tell she looks like a druggie, and she just like talking to no one. There's no one there, and she's having a full conversation with herself, and she's just nuts. And I'm like, I'm having a conversation with him, and he's more normal. And I'm like, is this normal for her? And he's like, oh yeah, that's just the way she is. And I'm like, okay, so she's just over there just like tweaking, just nuts. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like, hey, I need your driver's license. Oh, I don't have a license, of course. Okay, so I get a picture of it. He has an ID, a little red ID. So I get that, and I'm like, oh yeah, I need to see your registration insurance. And he's like, just mounds of stuff in here. He's living out of this van, and he's got this folder filled with documents from who knows when. He's like, oh, it's in here somewhere. And I'm like, okay, I'll come back. He's an older dude, not that old, but he looks older. He's maybe mid-60s. So I go back to the car and I clear him real quick. I figure out he has a warrant. So I'm like, okay, cool. All right, cool. So I go back up there. I got other officers on scene. I go up there. I'm like, hey, his name's Larry, or it could be Larry, maybe Brian. I'm like, hey, person, step out of the car. Let's have a conversation. He's like, okay, but I can't walk. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't walk? He's like, oh yeah, my legs are all messed up. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So if you try to take someone to jail and they have some medical ailment, usually the jail is obviously hesitant. They don't want someone to die in custody in the jail. So like, you need to go to the hospital. Well, then you have to take someone who you've already placed under arrest to the hospital, take them out of handcuffs. They do the whole rigmarole at the hospital. You know, they need to be this checked out and this checked out. It's called incarceritis, what we call it. Every ailment under the sun. Oh, I have this wrong, this wrong. So I'm like, I don't want to go this route. I'm like, okay, just wait here. Don't get out of the car. And so I walk back and I talk to my sergeant. I'm like, he's got a warrant. It's not that big of a deal. Like, he says he can't walk. He just got out of the hospital. He said, I don't know for what. He has a hospital wristband on. It looks fresh. I'm like, I don't know. He's like, go up there and figure out what he's in the hospital for. So I go back up there and I'm like, you know, what were you in the hospital for? And he points to his neck and he says, bugs. And I'm like, what do you mean bugs? And I just kind of like gloss over it real quick. And I'm like, well, why can't you walk? And he's like, oh, I have gout in my feet. And I'd open up the door and I saw his feet were just like all swollen up and looked bad, like really bad. And he's like, yeah, so I was in the hospital for bugs. And I was like, okay. So instantly, like, I just start to itch, skin crawl a little bit. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean bugs?
Take a few step backs here.
Yeah. So he's still sitting in the car and he's like, yeah, there's bugs. And I'm like, okay. And so I ask him, you know, like, what's going on? And he's like, my neck. And he like lifts his head up and he has a big beard. And his neck is like, it looks like dead skin. It's like purple and white and scaly. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, ugh. And meanwhile, the passengers over here just like, still having a conversation with no one, just losing it, right? And I'm like, it's just progressing. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, you know, this is bizarre. And I'm like, okay. So I go back and I tell my sergeant again. I'm like, yeah, he says he has bugs. I don't know. I don't think it's worth it because if we touch him, you know, I don't want to get bed bugs. We might have to decontaminate the backseat of our patrol car because, you know, that stuff is so contagious. And I got to touch his clothes and just sounds bad. This just sounds all bad. He's like, okay, well, we won't take him. So I go back up there and I'm like, hey, you're getting a ticket for this, this, and this. You didn't have a handful of things, whatever. So I go up there and I'm talking to him more. And I'm like, because he thought he was going to go to jail. I'm like, hey, man, you have a warrant, but I'm not going to take you on this warrant. You know, you got some medical ailments going on. We're going to go to the hospital. We're going to sit there forever. And he's like, yeah, they don't know what's going on with me. I'm trying to tell them what's going on. They're not listening to me. They gave me this cream, whatever. And he's like, but if we were going to go, I have this little container here. And I'm like, what's in the container? He's like, oh, these are the bugs that were in my neck. And he's shaking it around. It's like clicking. It's like click, 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 click. I can see little bugs in there, like dead bugs that he had picked out of his neck. And I'm like, what is wrong with your neck? Like, what happened? He's like, well, I think I figured it out. I was helping a buddy move, and I was in his garage. It was moved his mattress. I didn't have a shirt on, and he used to have a dog that had mange. And so I think he had bed bugs too. So I think it's kind of a mixture of bed bugs and mange. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And my skin is just crawling. My hair is itching. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't touch this dude.
Oh man.
But yeah, he had the little vial with the bugs in it.
That's so gross.
And I told my other partner there, I'm like, we need to go. This is just if we stay for long, it's just gonna get more and more bizarre. We'll just go, we'll just give him a ticket, let's just get out of here. It was just like, I was like, oh my gosh, just the depravity of people. I was like, I need to leave right now. But yeah, that's a good example. But I see just I just see the craziest things at work, and it becomes normal to me. You know, it's just like that's just what I see all the time. Yeah. But it is just bizarre. The thing
theologically, it's a reminder. We are all sinners.
Yeah.
And some are a little bit more depraved than others.
Yes.
How messed up you can get.
Yeah, you could say that. It is. Things that we see, I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, you know. And I pray for these people, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, how did you get down this path? You know.
Yeah.
And I think one of the craziest things is you just see how people lack of taking care of themselves and others too. I mean, just what you see is just like, what? How have you gone down this path? How have you gone this far down this path? And this is just your life now. You know, it is insane. So and I guess until a couple weeks ago, I've had a hard time answering that. I just tell people are just nuts. I don't know. Like, everything is crazy. I don't know if I have a good story. That one's a pretty good one.
That is pretty
We left that one. And I was like, wow, that encapsulates what we see very
that
well.
really could have been a bad deal.
Yeah.
You could end up with stuff. I imagine other officers would have had to get involved at that point.
The car
The car itself, like you said, you'd have to.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't even know how that works with, and who knows what that other thing was?
Yeah.
Like who knows? Like mange? Like what? Like
Yeah, I didn't know humans could get mange. I
Yeah,
looked it
I'm
up on
like,
my phone
what?
after. I'm like, can humans get mange? I'm like, yeah. And it
That's so
looks like what he had. And I'm like, oh my gosh, man. How do you
Oh,
What in the world?
Yeah. So yeah.
that's
Crazy.
horrible.
And the officers have been, in contact with bed bugs in the past, and there's a decontamination process that you have to go through and
Oh,
get all your clothes, cleaned out professionally in the car and everything. The car gets down for a period of time. And it's just like,
man.
pests in these people's homes. You're like, how have you gotten
No.
to this point?
Yeah, I know.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good man.
Insane.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is insane.
Yeah.
Oh, that is totally insane. But that is, I mean, it does remind me though, just of just depravity and just how we're just all sinners, and I mean, you unfortunately have to deal with that on a daily basis.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure you do too with your profession as well, having to deal with, like, there's some nice folks, but again, that 10% or whatever that number is, they're everywhere.
Yeah. It seems
So-
like that's a huge percent. And it was funny. We flew back to Wisconsin to see family a couple months ago, and we're on the plane, and there was this woman sitting behind me, and I could hear the way she was talking to her son. Her son was like 7 or 8, and just the conversation she was having with this kid. I was like, this is not appropriate, like just what they're talking about. And I was like, this is the woman I would contact at work. Like, this is the same. So I told Tori, I'm like, the people who fly on your planes, I'm not saying every Frontier plane, but at least at night too, they're like this. I think they're the same people that I'm seeing at work. That are a little more put together, that can make it on a plane, that have their documents, that can fly on a plane.
Yeah.
That's who they're. I'm not even joking. They're the same people. The same people that were screaming at in Tori's face. And Tori didn't say part of that story. There was people like almost like plotting. Let's break the door open. Let's rip the door open. And it's crazy when one
my.
person starts acting like that.
Mm.
We see it. We saw it in 2020 with the riots. One person or a group of people starts it, and then everyone's like, "Oh heck yeah, let's just do that."
Mob
Like
mentality.
how quickly we just go from being civilized to like just being monkeys, just instantly. It's outrageous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We're crazy.
yeah,
Good man.
Hopefully there's not too many more of those, but it sounds like
right.
in Denver you're gonna have quite a handful.
Yeah. People are getting nuts. It seems like, especially in Colorado. So
Mm-hmm.
I would,
Yeah, you just see
agree.
homeless people everywhere,
yeah.
and you have to assume they're on drugs. 'cause
Yeah.
they're dancing
Uh
while
huh.
walking down the street, talking to
Yeah.
nobody. Like,
You got to think they're armed too and dangerous. Yeah, it's
yeah,
they just don't know what's going on. They're in this altered dimension of
Right.
drugs and psychosis, and who knows what they think is going on in their mind.
Mhm.
You know, it's sad. I mean, they need help. They need God, and they need resources, and they need this. But one, they don't want it. A lot of them don't want it. They're just addicted to drugs, or they just like the lifestyle, and that's it. A lot of people that you see that are homeless, it's really unfortunate. They're not the ones that got behind on a paycheck and lost their house. You know, these are the ones that have just been like this their entire life and are just addicted to drugs and just live this life. You know, the people you see that get behind on a mortgage and lose their house, they're the ones sleeping in their cars that are silently working behind the scenes to try to get a job.
Trying to get out of that.
Exactly.
No, I agree with you. That's
Yeah.
I've kind of been that same route for many years when it comes with homeless, because just over the years I've realized, in working with different ministries like Denver Rescue Mission, for instance, you find out that really ultimately these folks are choosing to do that because there really is a lot of help out there.
Yeah.
I mean, even the Denver Rescue Mission, like they have places for folks to go, and even programs to actually help them get a job and what that looks like, even just practical everyday skills.
Yeah.
But folks literally choose not to. I remember a couple of years back, we went down to the Capitol, and there was a hearing there that we took some of our kids to, and it was the Democrats are pretty much own Colorado right now, and so they were trying to push a bill as an abortion go even further type thing. And so we went to speak our voice. Well, after we finished, we left and we were walking, and this lady, she was pushing this cart, and something happened where it started to tip, and so our son Joe ended up grabbing it and kind of help pick it back up. And hey, so we got into a conversation with this woman, and it turned out she actually chose the lifestyle. She's like, oh yeah, I used to have a job stuff, but man, I love this. This is great. And and now she wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And she was sitting there just pushing the car, just with all of her stuff in it, and that was her story. She's like, yeah, I just wanted to, stop working and stop doing that. And she's, and you could tell she was on something too. I mean, she was definitely, I like the word you used earlier, tweaking.
Yeah.
She was a tweaker.
Yes. Yeah.
She for sure was doing that.
Yeah.
But that's just the reality. Some of these folks, they just really just don't want to get out of it. And then everybody owes them the world.
Yes.
They feel very entitled.
Yeah.
Victimhood mindset, and so then the rest of society then ends up paying the cost for that whole thing. So just too bad.
It's sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of sympathy for him. When I first started being a cop, I wasn't a believer at the time, and it was always just like, these people just need to get it together, and I mean, they do. They need to take it upon themselves. But I have a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm just compassionate. Thank you. I'm very much compassionate, and when I see these people that are going through it, even if they're nasty to me or these people fight me and stuff like that, I still pray, and I'm like, gee, God, just please help them. They
because
need help.
It's almost like a sickness.
Yeah.
With where their mindset is, it's almost like a sickness of their mind. They've bought into the world ideology, and ultimately that kind of thing is really a picture of where they're actually following to the logical conclusion where that philosophy of the world takes you. It takes you all about me, and I'm now going to be, and everybody else owes me everything. Like, it's just a picture of where the world actually does lead you if you end up adhering to that. Now, people are a mixed bag. Not everybody fully follows their beliefs to its logical conclusion.
Yeah.
But a lot of folks like that do, and I think it's appropriate to use the word compassion because we should have compassion for them. They're blinded by these philosophies, by what the enemy has sold them, and it's very pervasive. It's very convincing for a lot of people, and it's really hard for them to get out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for coming in.
Yeah.
It's been fun getting to learn about you, your past, present.
Yeah.
No, you didn't do future.
Yeah.
But we'll learn about that in the next one, I guess.
Well, I know that Grace Bible Fellowship is blessed to have you guys a part of our church. So we love you guys. We think you guys are awesome, and I sure do appreciate you guys' story.
Thank you. Yeah, we're blessed to have found you guys and be here too. So we love you guys.
You guys as well.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.